network 14 for Saturday, July 1st. We've got Stephen J. in attendance, of course.
I already did that.
What?
We are here, of course, yes. I just have to add an hour. I forgot about this thing. Get an added hour to my payroll.
Yeah.
Which we have 30 hours even. Okay. Cool. You policy proposals, review people's worker levels, not people, okay. There to link to the main document, go over output deliverables. I can't find the deliverables list. That is deliverables. This is going to be a lot more about output than deliverables. But,
yes, it will be indeed.
Most of the people here don't realize the difference between output and deliverables, and I do it at times. I have problems. You know, not maybe.
But let's just.
I have problems. You know, well, what's an output? What's a deliverable?
Okay, so let's just back up a little bit and get everything set up here, and then we can do our check-ins, and then we will go from there. My computer's going so slow right now. It's just not happy either.
What do you mean? It's the only typing I'm doing on that notes. You know why it's going so easy for me?
You're on your phone?
I'm watching. Yeah, I'm watching things. I mean, my computer's open in front of me. So if you share something on the screen, I can do it, but I have much, and I'm technically on the computer if I need to be. But number one, if I'm not typing anything, I'm not using, and we're not sending video. So we're not using bandwidth really. I fast on the, because the phone is first. I have a octa-core phone. My phone is.
Well, let's do check-ins.
I don't have an octa-core computer, but I have an octa-core phone.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's do check-ins real quick. I'm doing pretty well. I am got a lot to do, lots to catch up on, but I think everything's going the right direction. And I'm probably like 7 today.
Are you typing yourself in?
Yep.
Are you typing or am I typing?
I was typing.
I was typing on the phone. Same time. Okay, go ahead.
Are you on the notes? I don't see you on the notes.
Go to the bottom under the link to the network core team. Meeting notes for now. My cursor's flashing right under my name where it says check-ins.
Okay, but the notes for now is the link to the notes that I've made the new doc for the Network America's core team.
Okay. I thought you just continued it on the page. Okay. Second, I'll be on the notes. I am on the notes now. Same things were that, so for some reason on the bottom of the other one that you have here.
I know, I just linked it to the bottom so that it was there.
Okay. All right, I'm here. Check-ins, Jay, pretty well. Steve. Besides my usual, that is good. I'm going to the Philippines. I'm leaving on the 21st. To get there by the 23rd. And I'll be there through the 7th. And then most of that period I'll be working with the Sonic team. Maybe a little bit with the Atlantic if they're working. And I'm looking forward to seeing my fiance after 5 months. First tonight's was just for you and me. I'll get it on there. first tonight for staying in the Philippines. We spoke about that, yes.
Whoa.
What was I going to say? We'll talk about that before I go. When I was talking to them last night, broached the subject of the Australia. And then I said, I didn't say we'll talk about it. I said, while I'm there, we will set up. That to get out of their hands. I said, while I'm there, we will set up the Australian thing. Do everyone that we need to do for there. But I think Australia is fine better. Okay. Just so you know, I didn't say we're going to talk about it. I said we will be setting up. They could not say what they want. They can get out of their hands.
So
seven. I'll put that in there. I'm a 7.
So you're 7? Did you say you're 7? Hello, Steve? You there?
Puzzles.
Are you a 7?
Already. Yeah, I already put it in.
Okay, cool. All right. So let's go on. How do these topics sound? So we'll review the topics real quick. We have our policy proposals. This is mainly for personnel, etc. that we did this week that we can review. We can go over the worker levels, output, documenting buddy teams and work. Buddy team work, and this is the weekly daily master documents. Setting up the Austrasian Central Asia Quintance, and then also we could go through our goals for the next 2 weeks until the next core team meeting. And yeah, that sound good? Like a good plan?
What?
Does it sound like a good plan of topics?
Sounds like a perfect plan. Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so let's do the first one.
Let me take a little lead on this. So we had a good discussion during the Andromeda about the problems with the Sonic, and that's what, we have 2 ways of personnel problems: dealing with the personnel we have and getting new personnel. I think we're going to have to come up with some policies I don't know if you actually read some of the things that were sent that night, because you weren't really on, and I was following along. And I saw the things like before Benji erased it. And nasty. If you popped it about.
Hey, Steve, I can't quite hear you. Steve, you there? I lost you, Steve. Steve? Hello?
My computer didn't die. Are you there? Okay.
I'm here. I can hear you now.
My Wi-Fi didn't die. I plugged my computer in when it said 10%, but I didn't realize the plug from the wall to the converter box, you know, little box in the middle, it was disconnected. So my computer just shut down, and I'm talking and didn't realize it. I said, "Why is my screen off?" Give me 2 minutes. I'll be back on. I mean, I see your screen now. I'm on my phone, and I see your screen, and I'm following along on ours. What I was saying was we have to have just some kind of main policy as far as, you know, we're talking about personnel in general. Some policies about what, you know, concerning like what happened last week. You know, that if you know there's a disagreement, they go to the other hangout, work with somebody else, and then, you know, get in touch with you, me, whoever. These are the people they mostly get in touch with, you or me. You know, for some kind of conflict resolution. But that it cost us a lot of time and money, because we paid them for all that time they were fighting, and
So I'm not sure if we have any particular policy. Then certainly can come up with new policies.
I'll write something up. I'll write something up.
But is it even necessary? I mean, what I'm confused on what you're even saying. So I don't necessarily agree that we need anything additional for that particular issue.
All right. I guess maybe if we don't have the problem again, we can leave it alone. And if it comes up again, then we can revisit it. And we need some kind of official policy on.
Well, what would be the policy? Oh, we have a whole conflict evolution and conflict mediation policy already. That's done.
Let me know. Let me know. Get off the phone. All right, I'm back on the computer. You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, the computer's back up and running.
So we have a very extensive conflict evolution policy that includes all different aspects of conflict mediation and conflict resolution and communication, nonviolent communication. I mean, it's very, very detailed.
Maybe we need to, you know, pull it up and email it or Skype it, a link to it to the entire Sonic team.
I don't think that we want them to sit there and read it. It doesn't make any sense, you know. It's like they agreed to it. That's all that matters. Like spending hours reading through a 20-page document.
Oh, it's that long? Okay, it's that long? Okay, forget it.
Or maybe it's 5 pages, whatever. I mean, we can make a summary of it, but I just don't see it being a priority. Like, but we do have a policy for right now that is not really, we don't really need a vote on, is that everyone needs to get on the Hangouts, right? I mean, I guess we could make that clarify the policy that, well, no, that is part of it. It's basically you have to be audio connection Hangouts.
Right, we said if you go to text, you go down to 25%.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't think many people are going to want to be text only. That's a voted on policy.
Yeah.
It's already in that decision stock. I already put those in that decision stock the other day.
Okay, but that's the decision stock for the Andromeda team.
Right.
So what we're going to do right now, this should go really, really quick. If we just like go through this in literally minutes, like this doesn't need to be a big, huge like discussion or anything. It's just reviewing the policies that were already voted on, already approved, and just stamping them, because this is the core team. This is a higher level of the Americas network. And we want to just make sure we're reviewing what was done in the teams and approving it and moving it forward with the whole core team and the executives.
All right. Good.
So we have our conflict evolution policy done. The next one was the new policy on the personnel independence levels. Then we have the policy on the rankings. And then we have the expectation of the audio and computer connection policy. So if you basically it's Hangouts or audio connection only is what we're supporting, right?
We prefer audio computer, bro.
Well, audio and computer is 100%. Right. To get 100% pay, you need to have audio and computer, and you need to be actively participating and working. And if you don't have the computer, it cuts off 50%. If you don't have the audio connection, it cuts off 50%. So 25% if you're only text only with no computer.
All right.
Cool. So do we have agreement on that one?
Yes, we do.
Okay, so that one's done. From there, the other one was the personnel policy rankings. This is the 3 sets of bosses: the HR budget ranking, the contribution ranking, and the representation ranking. Do you remember that one? Do you want me to go over it? Do we have agreement there?
We have agreement. I think some people are going to find it, a little, have a little problem understanding all of it, but I agree with it.
Cool. Yeah, it's sort of like part of our decentralized model. And
I do have one problem with it.
Yeah, let's hear it.
The one that says only teams can hire or fire, so you can fire somebody. Are we talking about the entire team? I guess.
Well, I could say here that basically a high level executive technically can do a executive decision, right? But it still has to be reviewed by a team. So it still has to be reviewed. It still has to be reviewed by a team at some point, right? And this would be like the core team. This is the core team meeting. We are the most official core team of the Americas, right? We're the most official team of the Americas, so we can hire and fire people as the core team.
No, I don't want to see like 4 people gang up on one person because they have a disagreement and say, well, we want to fire you.
The point is that 4 people can kick someone out of a team. What you can't do is one person can't do it, right? That's what we're trying to get away with, the idea that a single person can just, fire someone with no reason. The only person who can do that at this point is Heather, right? So we have the HR budget rankings, and if you're someone's boss, we could fire, but Heather can basically supersede everybody else because she's at the top.
Okay. I can go with it. I can agree with it.
Yeah. So in that context, it's like...
But I'll give you agreement on it, though.
Yeah, basically what it's saying is it's like, as an individual, I can't fire you. It's the HR board that fires you.
All firings have to be approved on, have to be, not only can do an executive decision, it will have to be reviewed by they can fire somebody from, say, Sonic, but it has to go back to the executive level that runs out of the entire Unity network, or maybe we try to get them into another team. Like, isn't that kind of what we said the other day with them? Lucy actually changed her mind, I guess. We said, well, I don't want to work with this team. I want to work with with one of the other teams. If it's just a personnel problem, not a work-related problem. If it's just a conflict of personality problem.
But we're not talking about the conflict, though. This is conflict.
All right.
So basically, let's use the conflict of an example, right? Let's say it escalated.
Well, that's what I was doing.
Benji and Lucy and Julie were all at each other's throats, right? As an individual, I am not allowed under this policy to fire all 3 of them and just get rid of them. It has to go to like a board level or executive level or team decision or the HR board or whatever. And then as a group, that's where the decision is made to fire all 3 of them.
Okay, now I'm going to ask you another question on that. Why did you... the Andromeda team is the main team. I understand that. But the Andromeda team has really no more ranking than any other team. Why did you let the Andromeda team vote on that last thing that you just said? That if we decide to get rid of the 3, if they go... Why did you make that an Andromeda team decision? Why not?
So this is part of... Oh, well, it could definitely be a discussion here, too. Like, this could be another proposal that we can review. So review that as well here. This is a perfect place to review that, So we can go over the conflict plan and the idea of, basically making sure they understand that if it gets worse, that all 3 of them can be removed,
Oh yeah, well we agreed on that already during the Andromeda session. I mean,
no, but we can agree. We can agree that again during the America's Core Team session, which is
that was my proposal actually. So yeah, you know I agree with it. I'm going to say, listen, we can't get it right. You're not going to fire one of them. All three are going to go. Because, you know, it's all of their fault for not wanting to grow up at that point. Act like adults, you know. And I think you were very right about saying it was mostly, I think, communications problem, and Filipinos can be very direct and quiet about it.
Yeah, that is the worst case scenario. I mean, there could be scenarios where we do, you know, consider keeping one of them. But anyways, let's move on to but they need to understand that worst case scenario, all of them go to make sure that they all understand this is serious, you know?
Right. I think that has to come up at when is the main meeting tomorrow night?
It would be Tuesday night for us, yeah, Wednesday morning for them. Yeah, but the reason why in our conflict,
because I'm sure people do work Tuesday night there anyway.
Yeah,
I'll be there.
Cool. The reason why the Andromeda team is involved in the conflict resolution in relationship to the Sonic team is because it's a neutral party. It's a neutral external party that can be involved in overseeing that conflict. Okay, does that make sense?
All right. So by the same token, if there's a problem on the Sonic on the Andromeda team, then we're going to have to bring it to the
Sonic team.
Main section of the Sonic team.
Exactly.
100%.
That is exactly correct. And technically speaking, the Sonic team ranks higher than the Andromeda team on certain contexts of the HR board and things like that. But yeah, it just depends on.
I saw somebody Zulu was like 40 points high. Huh? Whatever. Okay, I'm not even bothering.
Where is Zulu? 40%, 40's higher than you?
On one of the sheets that the Sonic team had open, they had, you know, one of the ranking sheets or whatever they were doing, Zulu ranked higher than I did, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, at this point, I don't think Zulu ranks higher than you anywhere I can think of. But anyways. So, okay, so we have agreement to the personnel rankings policy. We're in agreement on that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the only other one is the policy on personnel independence levels. Do we have agreement on that?
Yes, we have agreement on that.
Okay, awesome. All right, so I think we went through all of them. Let's go on to the next topic. So let's see, the next topic is the worker levels. So we're going to go through our policy on worker levels and get that all organized. Exciting. And we're doing pretty good on time. We got left on time.
Yeah.
All right, and let me check on the minute here. We are in minute 25.
23.
Mine says 25. All right. So we have the policy right here if we want to hash out the policy, but let's pull up the doc for now. So this would go back to our main new buddy team schedule, verification for new individual team levels. This is the individual and team levels. So the main thing that I love about this policy is that it affects every single team. It's the individual, the buddy teams, the double teams, the super teams. It's pretty awesome. So, and we also will actual organizations like the core team and other teams. But yeah, so I think what we wanted to do is just like confirm that we took Isaac down to level 2, Zelo's down to level 2, I'm up to level 4. We're going to go through your level in detail, and everybody's pretty much staying the same. Do you have any questions in general on the policy?
No, I'm fine with it.
Okay, cool. Well, Let's just go through you. So this is where we want to link your main doc. So you're under your name here. It should have they're linked your main doc right here.
Okay.
So you could probably do that, right?
I don't have to, I'm actually following along with you. I don't have it open, but I'm going to open it right now.
Well, if you need me to link your main doc, I can certainly do that.
Thank you.
I should do that right
my
now?
computer was slow. My computer was slower than yours. So I have to start opening up Google Sheets to find the doc. I mean, the phone, but not the same thing.
Yeah, we should just task somebody to do that. I mean, this is like a task that just needs to happen. Like someone needs to link all of the main docs to the levels spreadsheet. All right, so hopefully that can just get done.
Somebody should do that. Maybe I have that. Of course, it's not something she needs to have knowledge of doing a lot of stuff to do.
All right, so let me find, here's your main doc, so I can copy that.
Is Andrine.
What about Andrine?
I don't have a main, but
say what?
I don't have a main buddy team. I only have a provisional buddy team.
Yeah, you need to make a main buddy team. That's one of your responsibilities.
I mean, my budget is my provisional and green.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like you can make a main buddy team with Andrine if you and Andrine agree to make a main buddy team. The only difference between a main buddy team and a provisional buddy team is that a provisional buddy team is assigned, whereas a main buddy team is one that you both agree to, right? So in the context,
I'll talk to her tomorrow night doing
but it's important to understand that
doing Andromeda.
Yeah, it's important to understand that a main, like you can create any main buddy team anywhere with anyone in the world. Right? So there's no limit. You don't have to choose somebody who's already within the network. You can choose someone who's external, who you can get involved with a new person like a thief or some of the new people we're hiring in the Americas. I mean, it could be anybody. It could be someone in New York, you know.
I will come up with one for the end of this week. Okay. Yeah. My availability should be done already.
All right, well, let's take a look. So we'll go to your main doc, Steve's main doc, and we see no availability.
Okay, so I will type that in later. I will type that into this today. My availability is America's time 1 to.
Well, you don't need to go through it right now. You don't need to go through it right this very second, but the point is that it should be based on the octant scheduling. And you can just generally put what octants you are available and which days that you're available. And we have the schedule. We already know it. You just need to put it in here so it's in your main doc.
Yeah, it's on the schedule. I mean, I'll just pull it off the schedule.
So then there's your list of responsibilities. And we have a little bit. So we have investors, past quarterly value tracking, communications. It needs to be a little more organized. It needs to be 5. So you need 5 responsibilities, and then we need to sign off that you know how to do those 5 responsibilities, which is still looks like it's in the.
Well, that's why I got to work on some of the communication stuff because we've never had our Friday night communications meeting. Because it seems like you've been busy every Friday night with doing something as far as EXA or something. We've never had, I think we've had one communications get together, and that was before we even started. So at some point we need to get our Friday night team, it's supposed to be you, me, and Julie, or you and me, or whatever. And I need to go over the communication stuff with you, and I need to sit with a pencil and paper and write it down. Then I'll put it on the doc and everything, and then I can start. I don't know the information to get off the Slack. I don't know any of it.
I know. Well, we could do like a communications meeting as well, but
Yes,
to it
that's
eventually.
It's actually what's scheduled on the schedule. I think was scheduled for communications, and I will tell you right now. I will open up the schedule.
Well, it's scheduled as a buddy team work session.
Right, but it's supposed to be a communications work session.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's, we can do whatever we want to do at that point. As far as being, whether we talk about how to do it or we get work done, it's still a work session. Communications work. It's supposed to be J. Steve and Lucy, communications session support.
Okay, well, anyways, hopefully we'll get better at that over time, and we can always talk about communications right now as well if we want to add that to our topics.
Okay, we'll see how much time we have left when we're done.
Okay, so then we have your HR proposal, which would be within your public online personnel file.
Which I think we said I need to change my numbers.
So what I have here is that you're requesting for 15 hours a week, and your ideal is 2,400, and your lowest is 0. So I mean, basically, you could update it for this would be August, September. I mean, July, August. July, August is going to be the same. So the next one would be August, September.
All right, so I'll update it for that. And the ideal is, I mean, look, my ideal is pretty near your ideal, but I'm just, I mean, that's my, I mean, you want to get realistic for, I can live on 2,400, but my ideal is a lot higher, but it was way up there near where your ideal is.
Yeah, well, I mean, if we go by the book, right? I mean, the minimum equity level for the United States is $1 million a year for 4 years, right? So if we do $1 million for 4 years and divide that by 4, that's $250,000 a year for equity. Then we divide that by 4, it's $62,000 a year is the base level, which is $5,000 a month. So $5,208 is the base level, and I'm asking for more than that.
In New York, that's what I need to live on, but I will be out of New York by August 15th. So
I actually put New York. Yeah, I mean, I actually put New York at almost like.
It's like 7,000.
Like 8,000 even a month for New York.
Yeah, it is. It is.
And that's just the base.
Listen, I live in an SRO room. Okay, I have a very nice room. And that's because it's where I went when I get off the streets. I went to a halfway out, a transitional, and then I got here, and I pay rent here, and I have a lease here, and that's all well and good. And I'm in Parksville, which is one of the best neighborhoods in New York City, period. And I get Section 8. The value for my little room, which is probably 25 by 10, my room, $1,720 in this neighborhood.
Wow.
Okay. I pay $214, $215 because Section 8, and Section 8 picks up the difference. My income is only $800 a month or something.
Yeah.
$730, $800, whatever.
Well, we can
definitely get a one-bedroom apartment in my neighborhood is $3,000 a month plus gas and electric.
Yeah. Well, we can definitely mark your proposal as a yes, because that's definitely good. Your main buddy team proposal doesn't exist because you don't have a main buddy team yet.
That will work out this week sometime.
Yeah, and then your
my second work buddy team. How about you, sir? We work so much together.
I know, but I don't count because the goal for me is to help set up all the other buddy teams. So we want you to have a functional, separate buddy team from me. That's the goal.
I will ask Nellie then, since we work a lot together also, and she doesn't have a second buddy team. I will ask Nellie.
I mean, I think she's got a bunch of buddy teams. Plus, she's got Nellie, Jorge, Anaclata, and like ones, but I don't know how organized they are.
Okay. Oh, I'm in a bunch of our buddy teams. This is what it is,
Yeah.
Pacific.
Yeah. So, anyways, the point here is that if you go to the buddy team levels, we should see here Steve. Like, there's me and you. That's good. But other than that, there's not much else here. So we need to
I
get
think he's
organizing
going to.
more.
There's Nelly, Stephen, and Green on the bottom. There's.
Oh, here we go. This is a good one.
Should be Nelly. So Nelly and Steve because we work together. Should be Stephen and Green because we work together alone. I have go to my doc. There's Steve James and there's Stephen James. There's where's my
Yeah, so Stephen James could be a good one. Yeah. So anyway, so there's a couple that you're working on. So that's a good.
There's Stephen Nelly. The Stephen Nelly. With me and Nelly work a lot. There are like five, 6 things in there. There's me and Nelly. There's me and James.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So there's something going on there. We'll put like 10%. It's moving. So Nelly, Andreen, and Steve, and then there's also Steve and James.
There's Stephen Andrea. I don't know. I made a sheet yet for Stephen Andrea.
You got the English thing going on, so that is all excellent.
So I get those two boxes filled in this week.
Yeah, I mean, no hurry, but we just want to make sure people are organized. Oh, and then with the main buddy teams, you have to make one main buddy team at a time. You can't simultaneously make more than one. But then once you make one, you can have up to 3 without any permission, right?
Okay.
So you can make one and then make another one, so you don't have to but once you make a main buddy team, to create another main buddy team, you have to get agreement from your existing buddy team, or you have to break it up.
Okay.
So that's where we currently are standing with your level 3. And there's work to be done there, but it's moving in the right direction. It's good.
Yeah.
Cool, and I'm glad I'm fine on level 4. I mean, the goal is to get me up to level 6.
Yeah, I'll do an availability schedule. That's just taking a look at the schedule. I'll put the schedule on my phone and this page on my computer, cool. And I'll just copy my schedule onto my my main doc on the computer. I'll just copy my schedule. I have a fairly large. I'm not as bad as you, but I have a fairly large availability. I just need those couple of hours, basically from 11 in the morning to 2, to get rid of to take care of personal stuff.
Yeah.
Because what people don't understand, I'm in the worst time zone, kind of. You're done. It's still early evening. If we get done at 6 o'clock my time, it's 3 o'clock your time. That's things are still open. When I get done, it's 6, 7 o'clock. Everything's closed. Mm-hmm. And all my stuff accomplished in the morning. And then I'm talking to my fiance until 4, sometimes 5. So I don't get up until, let's say I have a doctor's appointment or something really important. Then I don't get up until 9, 10 o'clock. So Anna Claire was scheduling for 10 o'clock, sessions. And it led me, Anna Claire, you can't do that to me. It's the only time I have to get my life together is in the morning. Because realistically, 2 nights a week I'm on. I'm usually check into the Sonic. I'm like you. I bounce into all the teams. I'm now scheduled for 2 nights on Sonic. So my day basically goes with work. If you want to get realistic, on some days I'm on the computer working from 3 at night until midnight. But I'm putting in 8 hours in a day. 9 hours in a day, like you.
Well, it is a lot, but just
and then like you, I do task work afterwards or before. Stuff that I don't do in a buddy team, like the research stuff.
One of the things I realize and understand here. One of the things I realize and understand here with our new elections, right? We have the new elections, and we're electing for the quintets, right? And we'll go over this more in detail in the future.
Yeah, I gotta make an election. I gotta make a voting form, so we gotta go over it.
Well, we already have the voting form, and we already voted. The first election is done. You can.
Oh yeah, I did vote. I did vote, didn't I?
So
I gave you, me, and Nelly 8s, and everybody else less.
Nice. So anyways,
I didn't want to give anybody a 9. I didn't want to even give you a 9 because everybody has room for improvement.
Exactly. So exactly. It's very rare to give 9.
I gave you delegates. I think Jorge is 7, and then I would,
just to explain it,
a little bit lower.
Just to explain it, you need to understand that within the octant and quadrant, right? So we have the 4 quadrants, right? For organizing purposes, and you have the Americas network and the Americas quadrant, right? But within the quintants, for whatever reason, the quintants break up the Americas network, and so it breaks up into the West West Atlantic, or the West Atlantic, and the East Pacific. Right. And these are the quintants. So this will actually quintant. This should help your scheduling, like, because you would be primarily focused on the West Atlantic. The quintants are break out into 6-hour days, right? And so these would be the 6-hour days, and basically where the focus will be, right? And then it's actually like about 5.5 hours, plus some overlap. I think it's actually 4.8 hours. It's 4.8 hours plus some overlap to create a 6-hour day, and that's what the quintants are just perfect for getting us 24 hours a day. It's really exciting, and we should get this created by next week. The way it works is that there'll be the top 10 people. It's like 2 in each quintant. Global steering committees, right? And or at least one of them.
I think me and Mel are the only ones in the West Atlantic.
No, I mean there's lots. I think the West Atlantic is actually one of the biggest. We can look at it right now. It's really easy to see it. So if we just look really quickly, we can pull up. We want to pull up the elections would be under the prioritization rankings for July and August, and we would just go under elections. And you can see here the West Atlantic, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people, right? So these locations are organized by time. So let's say you wanted to sleep during the West Atlantic sessions and get up really late. It's perfectly fine to do the East Pacific session, and be part of that instead. Nelly got the most votes for the West Atlantic. So you guys won the election. Oh, actually, you and Anna Slater are actually tied. So we need to do a tiebreaker there. Yeah.
What's the ranking stand for?
What do you mean the ranking?
And column D.
Column D. The ranking. This is the total ranking across the board, like for across the whole world.
Oh, that's why I said. That's why I think Benji's Azul's ranking is higher than mine.
No, only James, Abdul, Lucy, and Nelly and myself are higher than you.
Okay. I'm looking at the numbers. Okay. Oh, okay. It changed. All right.
Yeah. Isaac and Julie and Andrine are at the bottom.
Right. Well, Isaac got to be at the bottom.
I know he like never does anything anymore.
Where's Zulu been? I mean, I don't see a lot of Zulu, and I haven't seen a lot of Ulysses lately either.
Nope, not much. So, anyways, this is gonna be really cool because what's gonna happen here is that each one of these 5 quintants are going to become independent. They're gonna have their own independent budget, and their own independent like organizing, right? And we're going to be passing the baton throughout the world so that we function 24 hours a day. And the way that we do this is that we just break it up into, you can.
Where's Mel living there? She's in Australia.
Mel is currently in Hong Kong. Hong Kong? I think she's in Hong Kong.
I was there. Has she been there for a while?
Maybe like a month.
I said if she was there in January, I wish I would have known she was there. I would have come together with her. I was there in January.
Well, she wasn't.
So I was there for 8 days in January.
She wasn't there in January.
Yeah. No, I'll probably be there again sometime in the next few months, but who knows?
Yeah. But anyways, let's wrap this up. But the main point that I'm trying to make here is simply that we need to get the Austrasia session organized.
Like I said, that will happen by the end of next month.
Yeah.
You know, or the first weekend. By the end of July, that should be up and running.
Yeah, and the plan for this is basically you have 2 people in each quintet, and then they break it down to 3 days per week, right? So you do 3 days, 6 hours per day, and then the next 3 days the other person does it. Next 3 days the other person does it. So you switch off every 3 days. You switch off between the 2 main positions. So this would be like, you know,
Right.
Yeah, but the position, like, people don't have to do it. They don't have to take it on. Go to the next person.
Right, then they can jump down to that.
Yeah, and that's why we have the ranking, is that it's basically if someone doesn't want to do it, you just go to the next rank person. Cool, but yeah, that's going to be exciting. We'll have that hopefully set up within the month.
All right, and I will hopefully have the Australia set up within the month also. So yeah, well.
Yep. Our next topic. Are we good to move on?
Yeah.
All right, output. Good old output.
So we kind of talked about this the other day, output and deliverables. You would do it while you were redoing the sheet, and I was commenting on what you were doing.
Yeah.
And so we shouldn't take too much time on this. I will try to find the list of deliverables and link it to someplace where you can see it. I'll send it to you on Skype so you can see it. I will find it later on today. It's there, and I'll look at it and see what it looks like. I haven't looked at it. I just saw that he did it, and I saw his name next to it.
Nice.
And if I remember correctly, it was a link, so I can, I can get it. I know how he did it. Yeah, it's early days for me. I was up late, and I got up for Tampa in the morning. I'm a little out of it.
So let's do like some examples, some output examples, right? So let's do the definition real quick, since this is for everybody. So we'll do a quick output definition and deliverables definition, and then we also can have work time, right? Work time. Right. So work time is basically like hours worked, regardless if anything is actually achieved, right? So you can work, you can work 30 hours.
That happens sometimes.
Sometimes, oh my God, a lot of times.
I'm trying to be nice.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be nice.
Yeah. So anyway, so we're paying people for their time. Is basically like, it doesn't matter if they can actually get anything accomplished or done. They still get paid. Output is basically, it's kind of like this, bonus hours, where basically you actually have to achieve that was set out, right? And typically this would be like a process or a step in achieving a final achievement, final outcome, or a deliverable. And so we'll go through some examples in a little bit. Deliverables are actual finished products.
Product for the client.
Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be for the client. It could be for us as well.
That's true.
Yeah. So deliverables actually a finished product. It always has a link. It's like a final version, and it's done. You finished it.
The list of accounts, stuff like that.
No, taxes would be an example of a deliverable.
Okay, then it's not part of a final. It's not part of it's. But don't lose my fork. I'm gonna eat my salad. Output. So achieving the final outcome in the deliverable. So it has to be something that, like the budget or the liabilities page or the tokenization or something like that.
Yeah, so the update the liabilities budget, right? So if it's done, right, then that would be output, right? So the most important thing is that it must be completed, right? It's really
But it's never completed.
What?
It's never completed.
Sure it is.
It's never completed because I have to go up and do it again.
Yeah, but you could say for the month. Right, you completed it for that month.
Right. Oh yes, I completed it for that quarter.
You've achieved the the outcome for what we set forth to accomplish for that particular period. Which is why it's an
I'm gonna start it again. I'm gonna start it again next week if
the liabilities budget for the month will never be a deliverable because it's just not a deliverable.
Right.
Another example of output would be the first draft of the EXA finance report, right? So we did the finance report, but it's not done. So the final draft, the final EXA finance report would be a deliverable. Right, but actually,
we gotta add all the bonuses, huh?
Yeah, we have to basically redo the whole thing.
I have to do all the liabilities over to them. Okay.
No, you don't. You have to. The liabilities is good, but we need to redo. We'll not have to redo everything. We just need to add more to everything and redo the whole report itself.
Yeah, we need to see if we can figure out some way to simplify the process.
I think it's pretty good. But, I think the process is pretty good. What we need to do is get more money for it.
That's true.
All right, so I think this is good. Another example of output would be our list of deliverables.
Right.
That would be an output, having a list of our deliverables for EXA.
Right.
And it's always getting updated, right? So it's really it's more of updating. So is this pretty clear? So then the next question would be, okay, how to document output, right?
Link. A link. No, that's not true about output. Of course.
Well, no, it should still have some type of link. There should be some proof of the work of the output.
Yeah, right. But they, they still don't have a link up for the new filing system, but that doesn't mean I'm not spending the hours working on it because I can't link it because I don't want anyone to use it yet. Because it's certainly not ready to be used. But I'm putting in on it. So what is that? Is that just work time and get paid at work time, but it's not doing my buddy schedule? Task work.
You don't need to be during your buddy schedule to log hours. You should be logging all of your hours, but at level 3, you shouldn't be working outside of scheduled hours, right? So that would be a no-no. But if you are working outside of scheduled hours, you need to still track those hours, right? At level 4, at level 4, you get additional hours on top of the scheduled hours.
Right.
Yeah. So
since I'm provisionally level 4, I'm yellow. I guess I've been working, or maybe I'm working in my capacity as an executive and not just as a member of the team.
Exactly. I mean, the thing of you not being level 4
I
is
get away with that.
Yeah, the thing of you not being level 4 is paperwork. It's not. You just need to go through the steps to complete the paperwork so that on paper you're level 4. Because obviously you're.
I'll do it. I'll get the in there today, and I'll talk to Andrew tomorrow about the main buddy team, and I'll talk to Nelly about being my second buddy team.
Exactly, and it's mainly like we're asking everyone else to do all these things, so the people going to level 4 and level 5 need to also do them because we're asking everyone else to do them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
That's fine.
So the key thing about documenting the output is that the end result is what we call bonus hours. So if you have, currently we're paying you $250 per month for like 15 hours per week or whatever it is, right? Or I don't know exactly what it is, but the point is that let's say you do 10 additional hours for a for output, then we can, that could equal an additional like $100, for the week, or let's say $50 for the week, right? Does that make sense?
Right.
Yeah. So so we would just pay you it's basically a paid increase to your monthly, and it's key that it's not paid hourly, and that primarily is because it's not back pay, right? So only back pay is paid in addition as hourly. So this is just added on top of your monthly budget. So it's pretty simple to do it. You would just have, so you have your in your main doc. So you go to your, not your main doc, but your work reporting doc. You would list, let's make sure that I'm noting this down here. So you would list in your work report your typical work, right? And then at the top you have your output. So, oh my goodness. Okay, so let's say this week you did I
did the research for the Bitcoin locations. I did the research for the registered agents, which I will have have links
so
to.
let's the reading stuff is not, I don't know if that would totally count as output per se, but this is definitely counts as output because this is actually a work specifically for the well, actually it doesn't count as output either because it's not done. Nothing got done. Output.
The registered agents list is done.
I know, but the registered agents list is not output because it doesn't actually complete a goal. Right, so you can have the list of registered agents, but the actual goal.
Well, who can contact the registered agent? That has to be on your end.
Well, no, but that's not the goal either. So just like, let's look at the example. So an example for the registered agent, the goal is a proposal to the EXA executives. Actually, it's not even EXA; it's CTS executives. To
CTS.
Yeah, CTS, the cyber token support executive.
Okay.
To slash board to move forward with establishing the corporation. Right? Does that make sense? So we need to. So the goal of the research is to actually finalize the proposal of what we're going to go with, but we haven't done that. We didn't actually achieve the goal.
Do we have anything written in the way of a proposal?
No, we don't. And the problem with the registered agents is for like, it's basically $5,000 for Cayman Islands, right? So we have a lot more research to do. We probably need to go beyond Cayman Islands and research other locations.
Right. I looked at Singapore last night. I looked at other places.
We only have a $2,000 budget.
The problem is that,
so we're going to need it. So maybe the proposal.
I didn't know that. That'll help me in my research.
Yeah, maybe the proposal is that we need to ask for $5,000 plus, right? Maybe $2,000 was not enough money. Maybe we just didn't ask for enough money.
Denmark. I sent me on Denmark. Denmark.
The point is that to get output credit, it needs to be it needs to actually achieve a goal, right? It needs to. So you can do all of the registered agent research you want, but if we don't actually find the right registered agent, then we haven't achieved anything.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
All right.
Yeah. So let's go back to some of these other things. So research, buddy teams. Let's just go with this right here. We know that you did the EXA liabilities and Bitcoin actual estimated. This is the EXA liabilities budget. Right. So this was an easy one. We know what you did. It was very, very a lot of work, and it was a clear and specific.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a lot of work. Yes.
So then what you say, okay, here's on your output. You already have listed in your work hours that you did the work, right? So it's like under the week you have it, but you also have it within the output that you did output. You can also list it within that week. You could say, okay, for this week I did this much output, and you list it as a separate column up here. Okay. You got your output, right? So like the center block would also be output, right? So here it is. So here's 3 hours for liabilities, additional 4.5 hours for liabilities. So you could say output was liabilities budget update, right? And then you did 4, 5, 6, 7.5 hours. Right? So, and typically your output isn't, maybe you spent an hour of that.
Exit client hours and what are the difference between exit client hours and those?
Well, one thing to note is that you could easily put here 6 hours for liabilities output, because maybe you spent an hour, hour and a half doing training, figuring it all out. So the actual output is typically less than the actual number of hours that you worked.
Okay, right? That's fine.
So the EXA client hours are everything that relates to EXA. So this would be EXA liabilities figures, EXA liabilities VOC. You have Venus session here. Maybe the Venus session is not part of this, so maybe this needs to be broken up. And then you have EXA center block and estimated tokenization.
I think we had a Venus session for 10 minutes and then we went to work. If memory serves me right.
I'm pretty sure the Venus session. I'm pretty sure the Venus session was pretty long. It was probably like 2 hours, but you might have been working on the liabilities doc during the Venus session. Okay. So anyways, the point is that that's part of why output is never equal to the total number of hours that you worked, because usually it's not all output, right? So anyways, and then this would actually also go up here to your output column, where you actually document all your output, and you'd say like 6 hours or 5 hours or whatever the output would be. So you need to determine what your output request is, right? So that would be how you do your output. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah. So then what happens is that after you log your output, then you so you list it in your typical work report. Then you list it in the top of the week if you want to, as well as the top of your work overall, because you want to track your output overall, because it's actually very, very important, and you're going to get additional value and equity, everything from it. It's exciting.
Right.
So along with deliverables, right? And deliverables, I mean, output is a lot less. It's like your output could be, a fraction of the time that you spend every week, all the work you're doing. And especially in the relationship to deliverables is even less. So so then you would mark it in your let's see, this is, you go to Steve's work report, sheet hours and pay, and then we come here to the client output, and we'd say under Steve we do like 5 hours. I'm not sure if that's the correct week, but whatever, it's fine.
Yeah,
we can double check it later. So that's and then once it's here, that basically this is going to be signed off. Like, so I would need to sign it off of it, sign off on it to approve that output, right? And that is the correct number of hours. And then this 5 hours can actually be added on top of that, and we would write down the actual value of those 5 hours, right? And it'd be really easy to calculate it. So if you were doing 125 hours, 63 hours a week for part-time, adding 5 hours would be the equivalent of the difference. So if we do, if we do
client hours, right? Because you filled that in, not me. So
15 times
whatever.
5. So it would be about 20 bucks.
20 bucks is 20 bucks.
Yeah, whatever that would be. I don't know if it's 21 bucks or not, but it's at least $21. But the idea is that once you have the client output and the deliverables, we start tracking the actual.
Okay, now then you go to FQN output.
FQN output.
FQN output is the list of accounts. No, that's actually client out. Actually, I don't know whose output that is. So. The list of accounts, I guess.
Yeah. The other thing to note here that's really important, when you're tracking, when you're writing your list for your output, you can also you may also put a percentage of the help you did for the output, right? So some people.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Couple of minutes here.
Is that Andreen? Did I hear Andreen?
Yeah, I've been here for a bit. Watching.
Awesome.
How are you?
Not too bad today. I'm tired from all the activities from work. Graduation and graduation ball, 2 days in a row. Long hours. But I'm getting over
That's
it.
nice, though. It's nice to watch. It's nice to watch kids progress and move up and do the right thing and learn, you know.
All right. What's your number between 0 and 9?
7.
7. We're all 7s today. That's good.
All 7s today. Not bad.
Not bad at all.
So, Adrian, I need to ask you a question. We are a provisional buddy team.
Hey,
Yes.
Would you like to be our main buddy? Would you like to be a main buddy team?
So Steve,
Your main buddy team.
say Steve.
What?
So this format here within a team meeting where there's other people is not the place.
Right.
Yeah, it's not the place where you,
right place.
you know, because it can
All
pressure.
right. I'll
You know,
talk to you about this later.
but we can go over what a main buddy team is, and the key is that each individual gets to choose their own main buddy team, and then would need to approve it, and everyone should understand what they're agreeing to, and then you guys would need to document that within your main buddy team with your own recording, your own notes, and everything like that.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. But anyways, it's perfectly fine to just provisional buddy team for a few months, but eventually you do need to get a main buddy team that's part of your, and it can be anybody in the world. There's 7 billion people to choose from.
We can set up our main buddy team another time, Steve.
Fine.
Yeah. So anyways, do you guys have any other questions on how to form a main buddy team and what it entails and all that good jazzy jazz?
No, I know what it is.
Okay, cool. And another good example is like right now, technically you guys' provisional buddy team is not actually you and Andreen, it's you, Andreen, and Isaac. So as a main buddy team, you guys could cut Isaac out real quick, right?
Where did Isaac come into it? Who put somebody added Isaac? Okay.
Yeah, we added
yes,
Isaac.
he came in some time ago while we were at a meeting.
Yeah.
When he came to that one meeting, yes. When he came to that one meeting, yes, we did.
Yeah, he's
but
just
since Isaac has disappeared off the face of the earth, we'll have to handle that too. Okay.
Cool.
We'll talk.
Awesome.
Okay.
So let's finish up with the output, and then let's move on to say one other thing to Andreen. In our calendar and our schedule, this would be for Uninet. So America's time for Saturdays. It's really important that you can show up an hour earlier than typically for the Pacific session, because this is the our most important meeting of the week for the Americas session, and it starts an hour earlier.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's an hour earlier.
It's an hour
on
earlier.
Saturday. Yeah.
On Saturday.
Okay.
Every other Saturday. Every Saturday. Is it every Saturday?
Every Saturday. It's every Saturday, and it's at 4 p.m. So today is the Community Network core team for the Americas. So the core team for the Americas, or the C team, is the highest level team of the Americas. From there, you get for next week is the super executive team and possibly even the super Bouncil meeting.
Okay.
That's you, me,
or even the super membership meeting. It might be the super membership meeting next week. Yeah, but the point is that next week is a very important meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the week after that is our core team meeting again, and the week after that should be the executive team. The management team. Cool. So anyways, that's during this next session, which is the Pacific session, we would typically break up into like buddy teams or middle teams, and then other topic teams, and there might even be some political meetings and sessions that happen. So it's still an important time, but we don't really do like a typical buddy team breakout sessions unless we're able to. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Cool. Awesome. So we have your client output. Did you have a question about FQN output or deliverables, Steve, or are we pretty good on all that?
Yeah, what's FQN output?
Well, let's say you did like so As an example for output, you would have output related to, well, that would be deliverable. So let's use payroll, for example. So payroll would be an output. So for payroll, the goal is to have a list of everyone and how much to pay them with verified amounts, right? Right? That's the goal. That's output. Right? But and then we're actually going to get them paid. But the point is that the requirement for the output, which still has not been achieved, even after asking you and Nelly and Ulysses to help do it, is there should be a final list that's verified and know that everybody's been included, and then we have this next week's payroll. So it's just it just somehow
you'll have it. Leave it alone. You'll have it before the end of the week. You'll have it.
Yeah. So the point
nobody's asked me. We'll have it.
I know. There you go. So the point is that it just needs to make sure it includes everybody.
It gets done. You know that.
Yeah, and it needs to be able to be verifiable. So I think the spreadsheet's the best way to go with that. So anyway, so payroll would be an example for FQN.
So I mean.
Yeah, and there's also the exit payroll, right? Exit payroll would also be output.
That's supposed to be you and Nelly, right?
Well, no, but anybody can help with it. So the exit payroll, there's a couple steps with it. There's like, the percentage work for the month, right? That needs to be updated, and then there's like getting the approvals.
That part of the value tracking, which payroll is presented, is on there, or.
So for deliverables, there's budgets as well as for both FQN and EXA, right? So FQN and EXA budgets are both applicable for deliverables.
Can I get a link to this document, please?
Oh, of course. Yeah, you are new. Let's add you here. Go to the
I'm sorry.
Yeah, these are our notes.
Thank you.
Notes. That kind of gives a pretty good perspective of what output is and the difference of the deliverables, et cetera, et cetera. And it's important to note that, for example, creating a doc is not an output or a deliverable.
No.
It's what is on the doc that would be the output or the deliverable.
You create a blank doc, then you're not doing anything.
Exactly. It would just be considered a task to create a doc.
Right.
So anyways, I think this is exciting. I'm really excited about the output because we have a budget for it. We budgeted $3,000 for output and deliverables. I think it's $2,000 for output, $1,000 for deliverables. And the main reason why the output is more than deliverables is we just have way more output than deliverables at this point.
Right. There's a finite amount of deliverables. There's an unlimited amount of output possible.
Not really. There's not an unlimited amount of output. It's actually pretty specific.
Well, always be new projects coming up in new hands, and
Well, I mean, the output is always based on, like, you could only pay people for deliverables. Like, you could technically do that. It just, there's very few people know how to accomplish a deliverable. It's not easy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So the output is much better for incentivizing people to work more and harder. Andreen,
did they accept the budget you made or that we made for?
No, we have to update the budget. The budget needs to be updated big time for Wednesday. It's a big important deliverable for Wednesday.
We're talking about the Oakland house.
Oh, the Oakland budget, that's a different budget, and that one was not approved. But remember, they might scratch it because they might combine the house with the budget with the business.
Oh yeah, that was the other proposal. That. Do I think I need. That was in the last voting doc. They should have voted on that already. Nobody should have bothered to vote because that was in the voting doc. We made that proposal.
Well, I know, but we did the house doc and people voted on that, but we didn't do the executive one.
Right.
Andreen, did you have anything? Oh, and voting docs would be considered deliverables.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you have any other questions, Andreen?
The last meeting we were in, Nelly said that we needed somebody needed to prepare for the meeting before they start. What goes into preparation for a meeting?
Meeting preparation is a great question. So it's mainly creating the doc, creating the topics of the actual discussion of what we're talking about. And then it's linking. So at the top of the doc, you have to link back to the America's Core team, and we also have our buddy team here. And then we could also even add in, like, buddy team, Jay, Steve, and Andreen, right? So we would have a doc that we'd also would link this to as well. So that's the preparation, is making sure, making sure everything is documented correctly. Setting up the YouTube recordings and the recordings so that it's all documented and organized and that everything's ready to go. So we have the video indexing here, etc. Does that make sense?
You get a lot of your topics. For main meetings, you get a lot of your topics for going to the previous week's meeting and copying the next steps. That's usually a good place to get your topics.
Okay, from the last meeting. The next steps.
Yeah.
If you're doing an Andromeda, especially if you're doing a main Andromeda session.
Yeah, we
didn't have many.
Go ahead.
You should always have next steps. I don't think we had any next steps in our last team meeting notes, but that was because it was did a lot of voting and stuff. We didn't do a lot of stuff but the other place is the master topic list.
Okay.
Everything I updated after the last meeting, and priorities, you can go to the master priorities.
Yeah, so eventually we're going to need to create a master topic list, a master, hold on one second.
What are you going to say? I'm just talking.
Hello?
I keep saying, unmute the microphone. There it goes.
I'm back.
A million times across my screen.
Okay, I'm back. So anyways, we do need a master topic list and a master task list and a master responsibilities list.
And we have that
for the Andromeda team. This would be for the Americas Network.
Oh, okay, for the Americas Network. Okay.
And there'd also be a master decisions doc, Anyways, this doesn't need to be done right now because it's like not a huge priority. But it's just
I'm gonna go at you a little bit. I wanted to say, can't make a lot of work for the Americas Network because the Americas Network doesn't have a budget to pay anybody. So we're doing this on our own time.
No, the Americas Network is the budget. We control the budget more than anyone.
I know
the
that.
Budget.
I know that.
Yeah, okay, good.
We maybe need to. If we're gonna need to have all these tasks accomplished, maybe we're gonna have to make a one-time payment agreement to have, me to do it, somebody to do it, just to get all this stuff done. And it's gonna take a couple of hours probably, but not much. It's not a big deal. Okay.
Well, did we answer your questions, Andreen?
Yes, you did.
Okay, next on the agenda.
Well, we could wrap up if we want to. It's getting pretty late, so we covered all the. Right? Are we done with output and deliverables?
Okay, we can wrap up. Yes, it is. We've been going for a few hours.
There's the setting up of the Australasia and Central Asia quintance. We could talk about that.
Okay, like I said, the only thing I can say much about that is...
Well, the only other two things, the other one is the goals and responsibilities. I mean, do we want to spend another 10, 15 minutes on this and then wrap up, or what?
Another 10 minutes, I'm good for a little more time. And I think Adrian came at 7 to work, so...
Yeah, Andreen, you're kind of infusing us with a little bit more energy than we otherwise would have because we've been going like over 3 hours already.
Yes, I realize.
Yeah.
That's all right. You're here and we're willing to work, so.
So yeah, let's just do a little bit more here. We'll do the Australasia and Central Asia quintets.
Now, what's the difference between the Australasia and the Central Asia?
Central Asia is basically like you know, Eastern China.
What's a quintet anyway?
So the quadrants are, you know, we split up the world into 4 sections, where the quintets, we split up the world into 5 sections.
Okay.
So Central Asia is basically Eastern China, India, it includes the Middle East, right? Then you have your Africa. It actually includes a little bit of Eastern Africa. Your Africa is basically Europe and Africa. And then you have the West Atlantic, which includes South America and the west of the east of North America. And then you have the East Pacific, which is basically the west coast of North America.
I would have thought that Millie would have been in the West Pacific, being in Mexico.
No, it's also includes most of Central America. Most of Central America is there, including Mexico City. Mexico City is definitely in the West Atlantic.
Just wondering, okay.
Yeah.
I always think of Mexico as being west, you know.
Yeah. And then you have the
like south also.
Australasia. So the East Pacific basically goes to the 180th. It basically goes to the 180 degree meridian, like the what is it called? The international date line, international date line.
Yes.
So, and then Australasia goes from the international date, like basically, you know, it includes, you know, most of Australia and kind of like, you know, half of China, and then of course all of Indonesia. This includes some of Oceania. It includes
Philippines,
Japan, etc., etc., etc. So is that a pretty good breakdown?
Yeah, that works.
All right, cool. So basically, setting up a quintet. Right now, each quintet has a minimum of $500 per month budget. That's what we're budgeting. But for example, the Australasia quintet overlaps with the Oceanic octant, which is the Sonic team, right? So the Sonic team has $500 plus 500 is equal to 1,000. So the Australasia quintet technically could have 1,000 if the Oceania team gave it to it. So.
That's because we're both doing it at the same time.
Yeah, they overlap at the same time. Exactly.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
So I think, yeah, so the overlap adds, you know, like the Americas network, you know, we have a $2,000, $3,000 budget for the Andromeda team. So if you add in the additional $500, it just adds to that. But it's split up between the two. So we have to split up between the Pacific and the Atlantic, and the Americas get split between the two.
Okay, so that would mean Ulysses, Julie, Benji, or definitely Eurasia, because they're in the Philippines. And I think they're probably the only ones who are technically in Eurasia, but we can get some of the people to overlap, so maybe we can get a full team, to the Eurasia.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I'll see what happens when I talk to them.
So the first step one, is to schedule a main weekly session, right? So right now we have for the Pacific session, the Atlantic session, and the Americas and the Oceania. We all have them. So we don't have is the Austrasia doesn't have one, and the Africa, and then there'd be Central.
Your Africa people are either working. The Eurafrica session, a lot of the people from Eurafrica are working in our side, either in the Americas.
Yeah, the Eurafrica is split between the Eurasia session and the other one, right? So basically, the first one is.
I'm not worried about Eurafrica right now.
Yeah.
It's because, like we said, we're not really concentrating on Atlantic right now. We had that at the meeting the other day. We put it, we worrying about it, but we're not really worrying about it yet. If it's started, like it hasn't one or a few people going, then that's great. But when I go down there, since they're not going to take the initiative on their own, I will talk to them about what day we're going to do the meeting. And while I'm down there the first day, if it's Wednesday or whatever, that the meeting that they do a meeting for Eurasia, I will make sure that we have a main session meeting for the Eurasia, and we'll make a doc, and we'll come up with some some priorities and things that need to get done on that session, and we'll take it from there. We'll see what happens. We'll talk about it for another 21 days down. So you can talk about it before that.
Okay. So anyway, anyone can schedule a weekly main session. So for example, if someone for the Eurafrica or Central Asia wanted to just schedule it, like we're not going to stop them. They can just do it. They don't need to get permission. And then they just need to send.
We're not pushing them to set up schedule. I don't think we have anybody in Central Asia.
Of course, you have people in Central Asia. There's Abdul. There's the new guy Steve. There's Zilu. There's lots of people.
Central Asia.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of people that I've even been in touch with before that just they're not able to meet because it's bad timing. Like they can't meet early in the morning or late at night. So once we get these new sessions set up, it actually is going to open up the availability of the whole world to engage with the network, right? It's very important.
Right.
So anyone can set up and schedule a main session, right?
Every now and then to see how they're doing.
Yeah, and the key thing here is that anyone can schedule a session, any other session or buddy teams, unless you're level 4 or 5, right? So anyone at level 3 can set up. Anyone at level 3 can set up a main weekly session without permission. And then you need to send someone from your weekly main session to the global steering team, which is the quarter moon.
Right.
Quarter moon session.
Right.
All right. So then the step 2 would be to start getting your quintet organized. So we'll just go ahead and review briefly. So if we go to the super team levels, right now we basically have the Sonic team, the Andromeda team, and the Pacific team is starting to get organized. But the Sonic team, man, the Sonic team almost went down to level 2, man. It was close. The Atlantic actually has meetings. So we want to get the Austrasia either quintet or octet scudding very, very soon. So that's exciting. And then we're going to get all the guys. We might.
We have a time frame. I don't think anything will happen. I mean, I'll keep bringing it up because I'm there working on Mondays and Tuesdays, and I'll bring it up at the main meetings. That we need to get this done, and if they don't want to push on it before I get there, I'll push it once I'm down there.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I'm spending 5 days, a week, push it even harder.
Yeah. So basically the goal is to get the individual levels organized. So the goal is to have at least one person at level 4, right? So let's note this down. So getting organized. The first one is get at least one person at level 4. Oh, by the way, I did a massive global outreach for recruiting note takers, since we have no note takers that are actually step up, right? And we had this huge outpouring. Look at this. It's insane. Dude, look at this. Okay, I'm going to show you this real quick. 108 people want to apply for our note-taking in off position. 108 people. Isn't that nuts? That's just a lot of people. I've never had that many people want to get involved for anything before. Anyways, it's just insane. I mean, there's no way we can hire everybody, so we just want to hire as many people as possible to help them, right? So we want to get at least one person at level 4. The next step here is you need to make sure that the buddy team, that you want to make sure you have buddy teams organized as well as double teams, right? So buddy teams and double teams organized, and this can happen during the session, right? So you could do like a 1 hour for that. Then you have your super doc, your main session doc, your schedule, and then it's going to start taking on some projects. So documents, set up and organize, goals and projects for the super team, right? And team priority, very important. And then they need to get signed off that they can actually do those things, and they need to have a tech connection. Technically speaking, the Quintons don't have to function in English. They could choose Globish or some other form of communication, but they do need to record. So we got to get recording set up, etc., etc. Must record. Don't have to have meetings in English. Could be Globish or other language. Cool. Does that make sense in terms of the steps to? And then step 3 would be. Step 3 is become more independent, schedule and oversee sessions throughout the week. So this would require level 4. This would be more like level 3 / level 4. So the level 3 for a super team is different than level.
Right.
Oh, thank you. Are there any other questions? Or are we ready to move on?
Can move on.
Do we want to wrap up, or do you want to just do one more topic, or what? One more topic?
Yes.
Oh, we skipped the documenting the buddy team work. Do we want to go back to that at all? We skipped that one.
I don't think there's much to say about that. We all know that buddy team's supposed to have a doc, and it should be buddy, and it should be documented what people are doing.
Yeah, but what people don't understand is the need for the weekly daily master note schedule and the weekly daily master list of documents. That's not happening. That's a problem.
Okay.
But we could cover that during the Thursday session, right? We could just put that in the Thursday session when everyone's around. Cool. All right. So someone needs to the task for that would be to add topic to Andromeda master topic list. And then these are the 2 topics that we would want to add, or these are the topics right here. So we could do that. Goals and goals and responsibilities for next 2 weeks. We forgot to do the video indexing on this. How long did we spend on setting up the Central Asia, the Quintons? How long did we spend on that? Oh, who knows? All right, how about goals and responsibilities weeks?
All right.
So for one is like next week is supposed to be the twice per year membership meeting. There's also the Earth session. We need to get the full moon scheduled correctly. You know, our scheduling is actually really bad. Like we're scheduling everything wrong. I don't know who's doing it, but everything's getting scheduled off. It's just not being done correctly. It needs to be done at UTC time.
Why do we have to bring it back in line?
It just needs to be scheduled correctly. And it's pretty easy to verify it. You would just go to you know, the calendar. So it'd be like the unitynut.info, go to calendar, go to the actual calendar to next week. And we'd see here that the full moon is 7 to 8 a.m. on Saturday. And my assumption is if we go back 2 weeks, 4 weeks, we go back a month, it's 7 to 8 a.m. on Friday the 9th. So it's basically they put it the same time, even though that's not the time.
Oh, okay.
You know, so
what's the correct time?
Well, we need to look it up. So you look up the full moon session, make sure it's scheduled correctly. So that's an important goal, is to get our stuff scheduled properly. Let's see, what other goals do we have for the next few weeks?
So basically for sessions that occur like monthly or bi-weekly or so on. For scheduling, you check the calendar to see if they are scheduled at the correct point when you're scheduling again, because it actually occur at the same time next 2 weeks or whenever it's next month.
Which occur at the same
time. The full moon and the new moon are set. You can Google it anywhere. There's no question about the exact time of the full moon and the new moon and the quarter moons. So there's no question about when it happens. Right?
Yes.
So the question is, we need to make sure it's on the correct time for our calendar.
Okay.
Right. So I could look up the full moon. So the easiest thing for me is doing all UTCs. So everything we do with global scheduling is UTC. Right?
Yes.
So if we go here to the full moon, so it says the full moon's 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturday, 7/8. So if I look up the full moon for July, I click on full moon for July, and it says the full moon's at 4:07 a.m. UTC. Right? So so why does ours say 1 p.m. when it should be 4 UTC? And I don't even know if it's the right day. It says July 9th at 4 a.m. So it's actually might not even be on Saturday. It might be actually on Sunday, July 9th at 4 a.m. right here.
At 4 a.m. UTC.
At 4 a.m. UTC.
My time, okay.
Right, and sometimes we even double check, so we could check another calendar, like this one. You know, so let's go to a different calendar and double check to make sure it's correct. This doesn't look like a calendar. This just looks like a blog post.
Oh, it says July 9th.
Where does it say?
Still says July 9th?
Yeah.
Here we go, right here. Full moon, July 9th, 12:07 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Right, so this is Eastern Standard Time. Right, so we also look at the NASA full moon, at the NASA moon phases. NASA moon phases.
I can make that. I'm still up then.
Mm-hmm.
So here is The full moon for July 9th is at 9:10 Eastern time. Anyways, the point is like...
No, that's June you're looking at. You have to be looking at July.
Okay. But the point is that it should just be correct. And the fact that it's not correct is a big problem. And this isn't the first time this has happened. This happened multiple times in a row. So do you guys have any other goals that you want to list for the next 2 weeks?
2 weeks. For the steering team.
This isn't the steering team. This is our core team. So our core team meets every 2 weeks.
Just putting the adoption, as part of our things that we have to change. If there's any new proposals, adoption of new proposals, because we have to vote on it here. It's voted on in the Americas or in the Sonic, it has to get voted, or it's in the Andromeda, and it has to get voted on here.
What are you talking about? I definitely missed you.
Adoption of any new proposals that we have between now and then.
What's the goal again? A voting doc?
Hold on, let me put my headphone back on. Let me put my headset back in so you can hear me. Hold on. Hold on a second. Set that back on. Bother me. I said just like that now. Adopt new proposals.
I don't understand you. What? A doc for new proposals?
Yeah, the adoption of any new proposals.
What does that mean? Adoption of new proposals.
Every 2 weeks, we should take any new proposals that the Andromeda team made as the American Team Committee to see if we agree with them, like we did today. Right, Jay?
Yeah, that would just be part of our process. Yeah, so we always do that. So we always review all decisions made by by teams.
Okay. Yes, that's it. All of the day.
Any other
goals?
Any
more work today. This is one day I'm not planning to do any more work today or any work tomorrow.
So are there any other goals here?
I don't think so. Right off the top of my head, we covered a lot today.
Okay, so then the next step, we'd want to turn these goals into responsibilities and then see if anyone wants to sign up for them. So there's the membership meeting. This will be part of session support.
Membership meeting is next week.
Yeah.
We said, what do we need to do for the membership meeting? Send out emails?
Just invite people, yep.
Is this just the American team membership?
And there's also the Earth session, which I think is also a membership meeting.
What? So it's a form of the FQN Unity Network. So, I would send out a global email, maybe an email list. I wonder who it has to go out to, because I don't certainly. I can get all our internal emails.
So Steve, you want to help out with this?
That next Saturday will be
So Steve, you want to help out with this?
What?
I should add your name?
Yeah, I'll help you.
Do you want reminders as well? Do you want to help out with the Earth session reminders as well?
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
Okay. Andreen, you want to help out too?
Yes.
All right. And so what about the scheduling?
To put it on the calendar?
We need to do the full moon scheduling and get that all organized.
Okay. All right.
You got that? You got that, Andreen? Okay. What about the quarter moon and the half moon? We're not doing anything for those.
We are doing for the quarter moons and the half moons. Yes, we're doing those now.
So it's full moon, quarter moon, and half moon.
And new moon.
Scheduling?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
New moon, quarter moon. New moon, half moon, and quarter moon. Yeah.
What is it? New moon.
New moon, quarter moon, half moon, same thing. Quarter slash half moon.
New moon, quarter moon, half moon.
Well, no, the half moon and quarter moons are the same thing, and then you have the full moon.
Full moon. Okay, schedule those.
Like the quarter and half moon are exactly the same thing. There's no difference.
Really?
Yeah, because a half moon is a quarter moon.
Okay, I didn't know. I learned something today.
Every half is made up of 2 quarters.
Yeah, so the full moon is 100%. The half moon is 50%, right, which is the quarter moon, and then a new moon is 0%. That make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Yes.
All
yeah,
right.
I remember that.
So then we have the galactic
I see on my calendar as first quarter and last quarter, and then your full moon.
Yeah. There's also galactic session. Did you guys want to help with that as well, to do outreach for the galactic session?
Yeah, well, we came up about the one with the black hole, the big one.
Yeah,
that we found the picture for.
Yeah.
Big one, isn't it? So, yeah. A list of people we have said that, let's come up with some topics for it. Let's, yeah.
Cool. So yeah, so that's good as well.
And I set up the Jupiter with you. We never went anywhere with it, but I mean,
I thought the Jupiter session was good. I enjoyed it. So
it was good.
I thought it was great. Yeah, we had a good showing. There wasn't a lot of people. There won't be as many as this time, but EXA client finances, which is super important. I think we're all doing that.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's more Andromeda team related than America's team. Although America's team is, we are all doing something with client finances.
Finalize the EXA client relationship. EXA client relationship. I think this is mainly me. Does anyone else want to help with the EXA client relationship?
Sure.
Yeah, the main thing with this is that it's basically Andreen, you too?
Yes.
Yeah, so the main thing here is simply that we're at the end of our report, sum everything up, propose how to move forward, and then it's just like from there on we don't need to, like, everything will be set. We don't need to worry about hurrying anymore.
Right.
Finalize the EXA client relationship, the monthly report. Okay, online voting docs. So this would be decision making and support, executive and team. Wait.
Yep.
The online voting docs.
Do you have any previous report that I can look at?
Yeah, we have our previous reports. So does anyone want to help with the online voting docs? Steve, you're already doing that.
Yeah.
I wanted to help. What I do?
And Dream, you want to help too?
Show me what to do.
And Dream wants to help with the online voting docs as well. Yeah, online voting docs is really exciting. So for today, for example, we made, we had like maybe 1, 2, 3, or 4 policies that we approved, proposals that we approved. So over time, what will happen is that within our structures, we automatically, all proposals that are approved, we send out to the membership. So there's a whole don't come to live meetings, but they can still vote on all the proposals.
Okay.
And that's for both for EXA that we do that for, as well as for us. So overall, online voting and online, executive team support is just really, really huge because
yes,
it allows
I do not want to make
engage.
the mistake of voting by email again. Remember Remember that fiasco.
Well, it's not really voting by email. It's about creating the doc, and then you email out the link to the doc.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So the work that needs to get done is to
sending out voting by email.
Yeah. So the goal is to basically turn these proposals into a form so that people can vote on them. Does that make sense?
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yes.
I got one there that I voted on.
Say again.
I got one that I voted on the other day.
I still didn't quite catch you, Andreen.
I said I got a link to one that I voted on the other day.
Oh, you mean for the elections?
Yes.
Ooh, that's another goal. I think that's another goal that we want to do is our elections. So
how often do we plan on doing elections? We just did.
All the time. So there would be Earth. We'd have Earth elections. We would have galactic elections, et cetera, et cetera. We can do elections every week, whenever we want to.
No. It's too much. It's too much, okay?
It's really not. It only took me about. It took me about maybe 30 seconds to do the elections form.
I understand that, but it's just. Have you ever seen an organization of any kind that has elections weekly?
They should, if it's a democratic organization, but the 99% of organizations are not democratic.
Monthly would be fine, but if you want to go weekly.
Sure, but the Earth elections happen. The Earth elections happen twice a year. The galactic elections happen once every 6 years. So
that's fine. Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
What to do, Andromeda or America's elections? If you want to do them often, I'd say once a month would be plenty.
Well, we've only done it once at all, and it wasn't even scheduled at any particular time. We just did it just because we had never done it before. So, yeah, I mean, we'll just well, the more we do, the better. But we obviously can't do it too much. Anyone can vote in the election at any time they want to. The thing you got to understand is that the model that we use, like one of our models is what we call real-time representation. Right? So basically what that means is anyone can vote at any time and change their vote at any time. Right? So in that context, it's like, let's say we do elections every week. Not every single person is going to vote every single week. Does that make sense?
All right.
So, I mean, we don't have to do elections every week, but that's just my point. And then if you do elections at the end of the month, everybody who voted during that month at any time would be included in the end of the month election.
And what if they voted more than once?
Then you would choose their last one, or you would just average them or whatever. It doesn't even matter.
Let's come up with a system for that, where she's saying they can change their vote whenever they want. Then you have to come up with a system for what it comes down to what I said earlier. I'm mad at so-and-so this week, so I'm going to vote number one.
Which is perfectly fine. If someone has a bad experience with someone, they don't want them to represent them. It's perfectly fine. No problem. And it will average out. So it'll average out over the course of the month and the week. And so it's like part of our evaluation system as well. It's like it's elections, evaluations, all of it. It's all intertwined. Yeah.
Okay, what else? What's this research order spreadsheet to PMP? I mean, I know what research order spreadsheet is. What's PMP?
But does anyone else want to help with elections?
Yeah, I'll help you do elections. It's not a big deal.
Okay. And James has already been helping with that, which is pretty sweet. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this up to the top so we keep track of it. Task responsibilities.
Time to do all this stuff along with everything else we're doing. That's all.
Well, maybe we need to get more people. So we also have recruitment, right? Andrina, what you involved in recruitment as well, Andrine. So like Jay, Steve, and Andrine, we should be
sign up for recruitment as well.
Yeah, we should be like the way that our recruitment policy works is that basically if you need to be ranked high on the HR ranking in order to be involved in the recruitment. And so the three of us are perfect because the three of us are basically, some of the highest ranked people in the HR.
Okay.
Yeah.
And get James in there too. I like him. He's good to work with.
Yeah, James isn't ranked as high as he used to be. Also, he's hard to work with because he's asleep when we're awake. All right. So anyways, I think we're done. Let's go ahead and wrap up and check out. So checkouts. I guess I can start. I thought this was a really good session. I feel like we made some good. We got through everything, which is amazing. Got through everything. It took us 2 hours, but we literally got through everything, which is amazing. Really excited for Andreen to be here. This is your first core team meeting for the Americas.
Yes, it's my first core team meeting.
Yes,
He's good.
And you're the first person we've hired 10 people, and we keep telling everybody this is the most important meeting in the Americas. It's not as important as the Earth session, the Mercury session, and some of the other global sessions, but as far as the Americas go, this is the most important session. And usually it's just me and Steve, so it's just a delight to have it not be just me and Steve.
It's been me and Jay for quite a while.
Yeah. I'm so glad I got to be here today. I'm glad
before
Steve's been around. Yeah, Steve's been around for about 2 years.
I'll keep you guys company. Never mind. I'll be here.
We appreciate it. And we you know what? Of course, it's not a specific work session that we're trying to get something specific done. We tend to cover a lot of ground that doesn't get covered during the Andromeda session and stuff.
I see that.
And I'll say this, Jay will disagree with this, and I know Jay's going to disagree with what I say now. But personally, I like it being a small group of 2, 3, 4 people rather than 10 people, because we get more accomplished in a small group sometimes. That's why buddy teams and not 4 people working together work so well. Accomplished very often in a small group than you do with a large group of people. So I know Jay wants everyone to be here, and I understand his point on that. But personally, I think we get more accomplished when there's just 2, 3, maybe 4 people.
Well,
I'm entitled to my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, no, but I mean, obviously we're in agreement that you have to have less people in order to get things done. But there's a difference between getting work done and voting on proposals. So the goal of this space and the executive team meetings and the membership meetings and all that kind of stuff is to vote on proposals, right? And so when you're voting on proposals, you want to have lots of input of different minds, different perspectives, so that you have good decision making.
Yes.
And this is where
but my statement on that is, yes, you did at the meeting the other day. We voted on them again today. They're all the same things that we voted on at the Andromeda session the other day.
Yeah, so we got through it really quick.
Yeah. Basically, what we vote on the proposal is at the Andromeda session, proposal we made, and the Andromeda team votes on them. But they have to go to the next step up to get approved by them. At that point, that's this meeting. Mm-hmm. Step up from this meeting would be the executive committee,
The executive teams and the global sessions. The global sessions, like the new moon, full moon, like getting into like the Earth session is like a huge step up, right? The Earth session is big time.
The next step up from this is the executive, I guess, team session.
Well, it'll be the management, the management session. And technically speaking, core team meetings don't have to be very policy based, right? So core meetings can still be more organizing and all the different topics and responsibilities and goals for every 2 weeks, right? And the management teams is where you start managing the different goals and making sure people know what they're going to do. And the executive is really where you start dealing with the decision making on almost entirely decision making.
Okay.
Yes.
There you look at all the proposals and those decisions that were taken and if you're ratified.
Yeah, but our organizational model, and this is what you will like. There's 2 parts of our organizational structure. Right? One is that we're a nodular-based structure, so every node, including buddy teams, include the entire of the whole structure. So any buddy team can vote as if it is the executive team at any time and automatically send that proposal to the executive team or the membership or whatever, right? So in that context, buddy teams are the foundation to the entire voting model as well. And then even within our core teams and our executive teams and our Earth meetings, when we have these bigger meetings with like 10 or even 15 or more people. And I think once we start public outreach, we'll have very, very typical like 50 plus people at some of these meetings that we do. In our structure,
that's not going to be in the near future also.
It could be very near if we start doing public outreach. We just haven't done public outreach yet.
I'm ready to do the social media, and you just give me the word.
Yeah. So
me and James have started working on it, as you remember, a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And we're sprinting to get other things done. I kind of let that go to the side for the moment. But whenever you're ready
is James on social media?
I'll be ready.
Is James on social media? Or just you?
Yes, he is.
James as well? Okay.
James is helping me write content, yes.
Nice. Okay, it's cool. So yeah, I'll add social media to our list. But yeah, we'll get there very, very soon. We just need to get over this little bit of a hump with our client. But we're really, really close.
I don't remember if I think it was either Lucy or Julie who told me that they do a lot of networking. One of them, I'll find out who. I'll ask around.
Cool.
But one of them told me.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people who are into social media, so we'll get a good crew on that eventually.
I still have the programs and the connections that I put together. Hootsuite and everything.
But anyway, just to
Hootsuite on my computer,
But just to finish up what I was saying that our policy is that it's a maximum of basically like 10, 12 people within a single meeting for like the core team, whatever. We could even break it up even smaller than that. We could say like 7 people per group, So if you have 14 people, that would automatically be 2 separate groups that are simultaneously meeting and voting on the same things, right? So the maximum number
afterwards.
You tabulate during and after. So if we have 50 people in a that show up to like the Earth session, we would break out, or let's use the Galactic session as an example, because we might actually do some public outreach for that, into like 7 teams, like 7 groups.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I need to get going.
All right. Do you want to check out? We're trying to do checkouts here, Steve.
Yes, my baby is trying to call me. Okay, I think this was a really good meeting. We accomplished a lot. And Andrew was here. It's nice to have somebody besides just me and Jay. Forward to seeing you and hopefully others coming in the future. And bright future for the organization and for, like I said, I read the executive team meetings from EXA, and there was some interesting stuff in there that makes it like EXA might grow, and as EXA grows, we'll grow. A really nice thing. It's a real permanent full-time occupation with reasonable payroll. Then we just have to keep plugging at it, the little things one at a time, get things done. And we'll get better at it as the time goes on. That's it for me.
Andreen, you want to check out?
Yes, I'm glad to have made the meeting today. For the short time that I was here, I learned so much. And I see that the work that is done is really important, and it's really important that it is organized. And I see the effort that is being done, and I really appreciate it. And I'm here and willing to continue to give my contribution.
And we're glad to have you.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Well, I think we're done. We are good to go. So, yeah. So I think that's it. We'll start up again in about, I think the Diana session starts in about, from now.
Yeah, I'll be doing a Pacific session.
No Pacific session scheduled for today. I gotta take a break. I mean, we've been going over 4 hours, Steve. It's just too much.
Yes, we've been going a lot.
And Andreen, next week you just have to come earlier.
Okay, yes, I will come earlier. I will just come at the time that I see schedule for you and Steve.
Yeah, well, community Saturdays we go all day, so yeah.
Yeah, we start early. I will talk to you tomorrow, Andreen. I think we have a buddy scheduled.
Yes, we have a buddy scheduled tomorrow.
Now we can talk about the main buddy teams and stuff, and we need to do a budget. Even for a provisional buddy team, we need to do a budget. We can talk about that tomorrow. Of course, we want to, if you want to move up the ranking, and I want to move up the rank. One thing, we have to get this stuff done. There's a list of things that need to be done.
Yes, we have to get it done.
We need to link your main doc to the. We need to do some stuff like that. Get your availability on your main page. I'm going to do that tonight on my own. So I'm not going to work anymore. At some point, go through your calendar, see what your schedule is, and just type it into the bottom of your main page, your main doc. So that'll be it. If you have any other availability under that, you can, if you have any other availability that you want to put down.
I will put it on.
You do that underneath what's already scheduled, and then you want to, I know you're scheduled every day for the. I guess Jay's still on. I see things on his computer. I know you're scheduled every day for the Pacific session, and then we can get that. You can check that off on the things that needed done to move up levels and things. So we can try to help each other move up a little bit. All right.
Okay, we'll work on it tomorrow.
Okay. Have a very good night.
Okay.
Jay, I am really not planning on doing any work tonight and tomorrow, but if for any reason you really need me for something,
I'll send you a message.
I'm actually talking to Jay on this one. Hey, Jay, if you need me for anything, call me on the phone or message me on the phone because I'm not going to be looking on Hangouts at all. Okay. I need Hangouts off my phone for a day, off my computer. But if you need me for something, if something comes up that got to get done, I don't have any real plans for tomorrow, so feel free to pick up the phone and message me or call me, all right?
All right, sounds good.
All right, I know you're probably going to still work tomorrow, even though you're off. I wish you would take the day and go do something with James, but that's up to you, Monday, Tuesday, I'm going to the beach to a beach party. I know I'm not going to probably work Tuesday.
Okay,
on the 4th of July.
I'll talk to you later, Steve.
Well, I got it. Bye.
Yeah, bye, guys. Take care.
Bye. Bye, Steve. Bye, Jay.
Bye. Ciao.